Did you know that Tina Turner's parents fought so hard against her holding a microphone? Their wish was that she chose between being a nurse or a teacher. Tina disobeyed. But the same disobedience that made a successful singer would also draw her to the man who was both her angel of fame and a dark and hungry demon of torment. Stay tuned to know the lesser-known stories of Tina Turner while we show you some of her rare photos. Tina Turner was born Anna Mae Bullocks, and as a child, her parents only wished for her to live an easy life as a nurse or a teacher. But that never worked for an adventurous girl who lived near the theater. Young Tina would skip errands to visit the local movie theater, where she would memorize the scenes so she could act them later. In an interview before she died, Turner revealed that she only settled with music because it came naturally to her. Although she had little training in high school and music school, it was something she never really struggled with. Life has a very harsh way of starving out one's dreams, and it made no exception with Tina. Tina Turner's troubles began after her mother abandoned her to save herself from an abusive marriage, and her father sent her to live with her grandmother. A few months after this, her sister Evelyn and her two cousins died in a tragic car accident. Tina was confused, tired, and frustrated. She had tried cheerleading, basketball, music, and drama, but none seemed to be working out for her. After her grandmother's death, Tina reunited with her mother in St. Louis, and that was where she found employment as a nurse assistant. As a side gig, Tina and her sister would start performing in local nightclubs and event centers, and that was where she met her destiny match. One such night, Tina walked into Ike Turner's performance with his band, the Kings of Rhythm, at the Club Manhattan in East Street, St. Louis. According to her, she almost went into a trance watching him play. After the show, she asked Ike to let her sing in his band, but Ike hated to have women in his band. He promised her that he would call her, but he never did. But Tina was never going to take no for an answer. During another Kings of Rhythm performance in 1956, Tina forced herself up the stage, took the microphone from their drummer, and sang the B.B. King Blue ballad, You Know I Love You. The audience was mesmerized. Ike loved her guts just as much as he loved her voice, and after that night, she became a featured vocalist in the group. It still didn't get easier after this, but Tina now has a personal vocal trainer. Ike coached her on the finer points of vocal control and performance until she was finally ready for her first public recording. Tina released her first single, Box Top, under the name Little Ann. She is credited as the vocalist on the record alongside Ike Turner and Kings of Rhythm singer Carleen Oliver. Unfortunately, the song was not as successful as they thought it would be, and Tina would need to steal someone's role to make her mark in the music industry. In 1960, Ike Turner made a mistake, and that mistake resulted in Tina's breakthrough. Ike wrote the song A Fool in Love for singer Art Lassiter. Tina was only permitted to sing in the background along with Lassiter's backing vocalist. But as fate would have it, on the day of recording, Lassiter did not show up, and that became Tina's window into fame. Ike would later allow her to take the lead part, and as he revealed years later, he had intended to erase it much later on and add Lassiter's whenever he was ready. After their session, local disc jockey Dave Dixon would convince him to send the song to the president of the studio, who was already expecting a song by Lassiter. He did, and the president was so impressed when he heard Tina's vocals. He described her voice as screaming dirt, a very funky sound. The president paid Ike $25,000 for the recording and publishing rights, while asking him to make Tina the star of the show. Ike couldn't say no. When A Fool in Love was finally released in July 1960, it quickly climbed to number 2 on the Hot R&B Sides chart and number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. Tina and Ike followed this success with the release of another hit, It's Gonna Work Out Fine, which earned them their first Grammy nomination under the category of Best Rock and Roll Performance. Other songs from them between 1960 and 1962 include I Idolize You, Poor Fool, and Tra La 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 La. The years that followed saw Ike Turner leading the band through different tours across different countries. Their schedules were so tight that one time they were fully booked for 91 days. Tina Turner's first credited single as a solo artist was We Need an Understanding, which was released by Ike's label, Sonja Labels, in 1964. That same year, Warner Brothers signed them, and under the studio, the duo had their first charting album, Live, The Ike and Tina Turner Show, which quickly rose to number 8 on the Billboard Hot 8. Nobody knows when exactly it started, but slowly, Tina would transform her public image into that of a sex symbol. Her clothes evolved from formal dresses to mini dresses and revealing outfits. Nobody understood why, but she surely attracted lots of praise for her sensual performances. In 1969, Tina and Ike released another studio album titled The Hunter. The title track, Albert King's The Hunter, earned Tina a Grammy nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. By this time, everything was going so well that Tina could almost vow that tragedy was near, and she was not so wrong. Their success as a musical duo was going to end in less than 4 years. But their last years were even more successful as they got more exposure from performing on big stages like The Ed Sullivan Show, Playboy After Dark, and The Andy Williams Show. Their biggest hit to date is a cover of Creedence Clearwater Revival's Proud Mary. This single reached number 4 on Billboard Hot 100, selling more than 1 million copies. It also won them a Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group. Their last taste of success together as a group was in the 1973 single Nutbush City Limits, which was written by Tina. The hit song reached number 1 in Austria, number 4 in the UK, and top 5 in several other countries. For selling more than 1 million records on this track in Europe, the duo received the European Record Award. Other hits from them you might remember include Sweet Road, Island Red, and Sexy Ida. With a career spanning nearly 5 decades, Tina Turner sold more than 100 million records, making her one of the best-selling recording artists of all time. She also has 12 Grammy Awards and 3 Grammy Hall of Fame inductions. You might not know this, but Tina Turner was the first black woman to be on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. She is a legend in the game, and interestingly, she was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. But in all these, was Tina Turner ever able to find lasting happiness? Well, Tina's first marriage was with the man who brought her to the spotlight, and the only way she got out of this was with blood on her clothes. Ike Turner was not Tina's first lover. When she was 19, she dated Raymond Hill during her senior year of high school and got pregnant for him. She gave birth to their son, Raymond Craig, in 1958. Then she met Ike and he turned her life around. Literally. Ike Turner was no doubt the best man to coach Tina to reach her full vocal potential, but in marriage, he would almost push his wife to kill herself. Tina and Ike tied the knot in Tijuana, Mexico in 1968. At this time, she already had 1 child for the singer from their years of dating and courtship, and she would also become stepmother to 2 of his children from his previous relationships. The couple kept us busy with their music while so much was happening behind the scenes, all of which would later be exposed in Tina's autobiography, which she published years after her divorce. According to Tina, Ike got so addicted to cocaine and would always take it down with her. She narrated many times when Ike punched her until she tasted blood in her throat, and in 1968 she tried to take her own life when she found out that her husband cheated on her with 3 women on the same night. Ike surprisingly wouldn't deny any of this, and after their divorce was finalized, he made sure that Tina would start from where he had met her. Tina revealed that after the divorce, she got nothing but 2 cars and her stage name as settlement. After separation from Tina, Ike was arrested multiple times for drug and firearm offenses. In February 1990, he was sentenced to 4 years in jail after being convicted of cocaine intoxication and driving under the influence of cocaine. He later died of cocaine overdose in 2007. Took a while to heal, but Tina was soon back on her feet, and life was going to compensate her with someone worth her love. Turner met German music executive Erwin Bach in 1986 when he was sent by her label to receive her at the airport. The two wouldn't take things very seriously initially, as Bach was 16 years her junior. But one night in the same year, he made the bold move and asked her out on a date. She agreed, and the next morning, she gifted him a black Mercedes G-Wagon. Erwin was a man who loved to move very quickly, so after a few years of dating, he proposed to the singer, but she turned him down 2 times in a row. The third time was going to be his charm as Turner, who was 74, agreed to marry her 59-year-old lover. They had a small wedding of 120 attendees in their home in Lake Zurich, Switzerland. Among their guests were A-listers like Winfrey, Bryan Adams, Sade, and David Bowie. A few years into their marriage, Tina got sick, and she would be surprised at what Bach would do. Medical diagnosis revealed that she needed a kidney transplant as her kidneys were failing fast, and Bach offered to donate his. Tina couldn't fight him off, and his reasons were that he didn't want another woman or another life. The transplant was carried out with little trouble, and Turner was on her road to recovery. After this, Tina in many ways demonstrated publicly her love for her husband Erwin Bach. What she loved most about him was how he was not intimidated by her talents and skills, and how he embodied love in its purest form. "We're the light of each other's life, and we want to shine as bright as we can together," Tina shared in her memoir. She concluded by saying, "I can't understand why karma was the way it was. Good came out of bad, joy came out of pain, and I've never been so completely happy as I am today." Tina and Erwin continued to live together as husband and wife until her death in 2023. Not many people might remember, but acting was Tina's first love, and even in the heights of her success in the music industry, she kept in touch with who she had always wanted to be. Tina Turner has acting credits in a few movies like the 1975 rock musical film Tommy, 1985 Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, 1993 Last Action Hero, and the 1996 Wildest Dreams. Tina might not have been very fortunate to star in the most successful movies, not that she cared anyway, but the actress never failed to bring her shine in any episode that she featured in. To her, acting was just a way to reconnect with her old self, a way to reflect on what could have been. But then, death was close now, and even her super husband wouldn't be able to save her again. After the kidney transplant, Tina confessed that her hospital days were far from over as doctors needed to handle complications from the surgery. 2 months before her death, Turner made a post on International Kidney Day discussing how her negligence to save the organ was destroying her life. According to her, she first suffered hypertension in 1978, but she tried to make that go away with music, and it turned out even worse. The poorly controlled hypertension led to a stroke in 2009, and that was when diagnosis revealed that her kidneys had lost 30% of their function. Her husband did all he could, but the best he could do was to make her stay for 6 more years. In those 6 years, Turner suffered even more life-threatening diseases, and she was confined to a wheelchair until her death on May 24, 2023. She was 83 years old, and her body was cremated after a private funeral. She is survived by her husband and her 4 children. Celebrities that sent their tributes in memory of the rock and roll legend include Beyoncé, Oprah Winfrey, Diana Ross, Madonna, and Lionel Richie, among so many others. At the time of her death, she had an estimated net worth of $250 million. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos of beautiful actresses from the yesteryears on the end screen below. Thank you for watching.